Debugging Alchemy REST API is a crucial step in ensuring the seamless functioning of your application. To start, it is essential to understand the basics of Alchemy and its API. Alchemy is a blockchain development platform that provides a suite of tools and APIs for building and interacting with blockchain applications. The first step in debugging Alchemy REST API is to check the API endpoint and parameters. Ensure that the endpoint URL is correct and the parameters are properly formatted. You can use tools like Postman or curl to test the API endpoint and verify the response. Next, check the API response status code. A status code of 200 indicates a successful response, while a status code of 400 or 500 indicates an error. You can use the Alchemy API documentation to determine the correct status code for each endpoint. Another crucial step is to check the API response payload. The payload contains the actual data returned by the API. Verify that the payload is in the correct format and contains the expected data. You can use a JSON parser to parse the response payload and verify its contents. In addition to checking the API response, it is also essential to check the request headers and body. Ensure that the request headers are properly set and the request body is in the correct format. You can use tools like Postman or curl to inspect the request headers and body. To further debug the issue, you can enable debug logging in your application. This will provide detailed logs of the API requests and responses, allowing you to identify the source of the issue. You can also use tools like Alchemy's built-in debugger to step through the code and identify the issue. Best practices for debugging Alchemy REST API include testing the API endpoint with a tool like Postman or curl, verifying the API response status code and payload, and enabling debug logging in your application. By following these steps and best practices, you can quickly identify and resolve issues with the Alchemy REST API and ensure the seamless functioning of your application. In summary, debugging Alchemy REST API involves checking the API endpoint and parameters, verifying the API response status code and payload, checking the request headers and body, and enabling debug logging in your application. By following these steps and best practices, you can ensure the seamless functioning of your application and provide a better user experience.